duty calls, the LAPD responds.
Let's be careful out there.
Working as a team to protect and to serve.
Driver's got a gun. Leave us alone! Why don't you just let her go? We have a critical missing.
I lost my puppy.
To fight crime and to keep our streets safe.
Hi, welcome to Inside the LAPD. I'm Mary Grady, Public Information Director for the Los Angeles Police Department. This is an historic day for the LAPD. I'm here at the Elysian Park Academy, and today, the 54th Chief of the LAPD, William J. Bratton, is being sworn in for a second term. He becomes the first chief ever in the department's history to receive a second term, following a city charter change in 1992. And he becomes the first chief in the history of the LAPD to serve consecutive back-to-back terms. It's a big day for the LAPD, but an even bigger day for the chief. And as he was driving into the historic academy, what were his thoughts?
Actually, it's interesting you asked that question because I was describing those gates and arch to my father and the significance, and kind of what goes through my mind every time I come up that hill is looking back to the beginning of TV stories that so impressed me about this department. Police Story, 1 Adam 12, Dragnet, and very often those gates would be featured. And I also remember the first time I visited this academy in 1980. I was a superintendent of the Boston Police Department and was invited over here for lunch. And who would have ever thought 22 years later, I had the opportunity to come in as Chief of Police, and now 27 years later, we appointed to the position of Chief of Police.
And 5 years later, how is this ceremony a little different? I mean, you got out of the car and all these people who've been a part of your life for so long.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I think this one will be a happier event than the first one, because the first one was filled with a lot of expectation, anticipation, anxiety. It was certainly a troubled time for the city. Secession was being debated. The whole issue of the opportunity I had to come in and apply to be Chief of Police. This time, I think we've shown over the last 5 years what we can do, what we will be able to continue to do. I think it's a quieter time in the city, so it's more celebratory. And I'm just so pleased. I have over 70 friends from all over the country, including 3 of my classmates from my recruit class in Boston 1970, who have come out with their wives to enjoy this event. My father's here. He was not able to attend the first time. That my mother recently passed, and she had been ill for many years. So it's so nice to have him here. He'll pin the badge on, or re-pin the badge this morning. And it's like a walk down memory lane that all the people that are here. Some who were expected, and others out of the clear blue showed up. And you look and there's somebody, what are you doing here? No, so it's just a wonderful experience this morning. I'm a lot less nervous this morning than I was 5 years ago, too, as you might expect. So it's, I intend to just have a good time today.
You know, those of us who work for you and know you, we know that starting tomorrow we got to be wearing our running shoes.
That's right. Put on the new running shoes. We've worn out the other ones.
Exactly. What should we expect? What should the city expect?
Actually, more of the same. The Daily News had a very good article this morning talking about some of that. The LA Times also. That still going to push for crime reduction, number one responsibility, improve our counterterrorism capabilities, which are already very high, get the consent decree fully implemented to the extent that the federal monitors go away. Much as I love them, they're good friends that want them to go away, it's time. And at the same time, the new challenges are the timing of the new recruits, the expansion of the department. In the Valley, we're going to have to basically significantly reconfigure the Valley because of the expansion of population there and the new stations. Technology acquisition, cameras in the cars, new radio systems, new crime lab, which is just coming online. And then in 2009, the new police headquarters, which will be the symbol of the new LAPD, if you will.
You have 13,000 people, sworn in civilian, who back you up every day. What would you like to say to them?
Well, I'm going to say to them, thank you. I am here because of your hard work. I am here certainly because of their efforts. I get to tell the story. I talk about that all the time. I get to tell the story. And they have given me a story that has been certainly, by and large, a story of success. And it's also a story that from time to time, like any large organization, we have to face up to our deficiencies. And The public has a right to understand why things happen when things go wrong, and I think we've clearly shown that we are willing to be candid about what went wrong and candid about what we intend to do to fix it and to be held accountable to fixing it.
Ready! Los Angeles Police Armed Society, part-time drums! Bar, the center, whack, mark!
Well, it's a great day, and I think what we've all thought when we think about making a difference, we say, what a difference a day makes. Well, what a difference 5 years makes. So here we are, Bill. We're ready to go another 5. And I look forward to working with Bill and the LAPD. And I'm excited because we've done a lot together. And I know that this recent fire situation, I had LA police cars and police officers up here in Santa Clarita helping out along with Malibu. And it's that teamwork that effectively helps put out a fire and keep people safe.
People are just so pleased with the record that Bill Bratton has achieved over the past 5 years, and I'm glad that the commission decided to give him a second 5, and I'm glad he decided to accept as well.
We're looking to continued leadership, continued reform of the department, continued good morale with our rank and file. He's been a successful, tremendous leader, and we're just honored to have him in our city.
We are honored with several distinguished speakers today. First, I would like to introduce the Attorney General for the state of California, the Honorable Edmund Jerry Brown. Mr. Attorney General.
Just a very brief word. There's so many that will speak today. I can say what I have to say very succinctly. In Chief Bratton, you have the foremost leader in American policing. There's no question about it in my mind. And having spent 8 years dealing with serious criminal activity, I fully appreciate the value of a police leader that knows how to suppress crime in a focused, effective, accountable way consistent with the Constitution. And someone whom you ask, what is the current state of criminal activity, can pull out his BlackBerry and cite the crime rate within the last week. There are very few police chiefs in the United States that can do that. And for that reason, Los Angeles has experienced a dramatic reduction in crime that unfortunately contrasts with Oakland and San Francisco and several other cities. You've got a great police chief. I'm glad to be here to be able to acknowledge that. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce the Honorable Antonio VILLARAIGOSA, the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, who is certainly a strong supporter of LAPD and of Chief Bratton and of public safety in Los Angeles. Your Honorable Mayor.
I'd like to acknowledge my friend, the Attorney General, Jerry Brown, members of the City Council, led by President Eric Garcetti, members of the Police Commission, led by Anthony Pacheco, the law enforcement professionals from around the country and indeed the world, friends and family who are here with Chief Bratton. And I want to particularly acknowledge Mr. William Bratton, Sr., who I had the great pleasure of meeting earlier this week in my office. Mr. Bratton, I know you're very proud today, proud not just because of your son's tremendous success, but for the honor and integrity with which he has achieved that success. I've been saying for more than 2 years that Bill Bratton is the finest police chief in the United States of America, and that has not been an empty praise by any measure. For the last 5 years, Chief Bratton has served the people of Los Angeles with honor, integrity, and professionalism, while achieving a level of success unrivaled anywhere in the nation, especially under the circumstances. Today, Chief, on behalf of the people of Los Angeles, it is my honor to welcome you back for another 5 years at the helm of the Los Angeles Police Department. The most basic charge of any police chief is to reduce crime, to keep our communities safe. And on that measure, thanks in large part to the brave men and women of the LAPD who are here and who are on the streets of Los Angeles, Chief Bratton has passed with flying colors, make no mistake about that. I campaign on the idea that we need to increase the numbers of police officers on the streets of Los Angeles. And Chief Bratton has been an absolute partner in our effort to grow the LAPD, because make no mistake, the accomplishments that we've been able to enjoy, we will not be able to enjoy if we don't continue to invest in this police department, if we don't continue to grow the ranks of the LAPD, if we don't reach out to the communities that we serve. And Chief Bill Bratton is absolutely committed to that effort. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States.
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of California.
the Constitution of the State of California,
The Charter of the City of Los Angeles.
the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
And that I will faithfully discharge those duties
and that I will faithfully discharge those duties
of the Office of Chief of Police
of the Office of Chief of Police
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you, sir. Today, my father, who has stood at every event in which I have been promoted or achieved a position of Chief of Police, 5 years ago, my mother was very ill, and my father and my mother June were not able to travel for the ceremony. And this past summer, my mother passed away, and my father is here today, and I would like him to have the opportunity to, for the first time in his life and the first time in my professional career, to have him pin that badge on my chest. So if you got it.
I try not to stick it. But if I do, don't forget it's the pride and privilege. How's that, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah. I love you, Bill.
In case you haven't heard, I'm Bill Bratton. And I'm chief, the proud chief of this extraordinary department, the Los Angeles Police Department, and it is indeed an honor to accept this reappointment for the next 5 years. A police department and its leadership cannot work independent of the city and its political leadership. And so long as I'm chief of police, that will not happen. Now for a moment, let me speak to this department that I love so much, and to the city that my wife Vicki and I, and now my son David, call home. 5 years ago, there were very disturbing times in the city. The city had just gone through the divisive debate about separation. It had gone through the divisiveness of not continuing the contract of the previous chief of police. Crime was up. Police officers were leaving the department in droves. There was great uncertainty in this city. My appointment at that time was one of anticipation, but also of concern. I would hope today that you share with me the belief that today should be a day of celebration, that we have removed the uncertainty, that we have removed the anxiety. I had made 4 promises 5 years ago. Let me speak briefly to them. 1, and maybe most importantly, because if it did not happen, none of the others would have, to remove the tarnish from this most famous badge. A department that was being significantly challenged and criticized once again in its history. We committed, myself, the mayor, and continuing now with Mayor VILLARAIGOSA, to do all we could to restore the pride, the integrity, the commitment to make this a safer city. And the officers and the civilians of this department have responded. But make no mistake about it, if they had not, then the last 5 years would not have occurred in the way they did. Let me speak to those 5 years briefly. The second promise was crime, that we would get it down. Crime does not go up or down by itself. One of the things I've learned in 37 years in this business is the most significant factor is cops. Cops count, they matter. That's something I'm proud of. I am proud to be a cop, and I am now proud to be chief of this great department and of these officers and these civilians, these men and women who over the last 5 years have continued to make this city a safer city, and over the next 5 years will continue to do so and continue to do so and continue to do so with the active support of this mayor and this city council and the increase in officers that have been committed to. We have done it, and we will continue to do it. And as Eric Garcetti, the president, who is always so articulate in referencing, it's just not the numbers, and those numbers are accurate. Make no mistake about that. We're not playing games with the numbers, and I will not allow anybody to challenge them, because then they're challenging the hard work of the men and women of this department who make those numbers, who save those lives. And we have saved thousands of lives over the last 5 years. So crime is down, and it will continue to go down. Fear is down, and we hope that will continue to go down also, as will disorder throughout the city. And the mayor referenced that we're not just taking care of Brentwood. We are where we are needed most, and I will continue to fight that battle to put resources where they are needed most. That's what we do. That's what cops do. That's how we get crime down. We also talked about the consent decree. Instead of resisting it, instead of giving it as a low priority, we would in fact embrace it. We would accomplish its goals, its state-of-the-art benefits to this department. And we are almost there. We have gone on that steeplechase, and we have fallen down from time to time, but we got up, dusted ourselves off, and kept going. And we are very close to that goal line, and that is another reason that I was so desirous to stay into this second term, because I